Church, just want to say a warm word of welcome on behalf of the Missions Department. We are so thrilled to be here today to hear from Kent and hear what each other has to say and share, and we continue to be on a road with lots of learning. And so first of all, I just want to say thanks for being here, and thanks for wanting to be a part of the dialogue that's going to take place tonight.
My family, my dad's family was raised in Oklahoma, and we love religion within Israel. It's kind of interesting to hear what he said to us about it.
It comes at a point when Kent was talking with these two native elders, and then the issue of the mascot comes up, and then so the man says to Kent here, he says, "But here's what you've got to understand. But here's what you've got to understand. When you look at black people, you see ghosts of all the slavery and the rapes and the hangings and the chains. When you look at Jews, you see ghosts of all those bodies thrown up in the death camps. And the ghosts of those, and those ghosts keep you trying to do the right thing. But, he says, but when you look at us, speaking of our native people, he said, but when you look at us, you don't see the ghosts of the little babies with their heads smashed in by rifle butts at Big Hole, or the old folks dying by the side of the trail on the way to Oklahoma while their families cried and tried to make them comfortable, or the dead mothers at Wounded Knee, or the little kids at Sand Creek who were shot for target practice. You don't see any ghosts at all. Instead, he says, when you look at us, instead you see casinos and drunks and junk cars and shacks. Well, he says, we see those ghosts, and they make our hearts sad. And they hurt our little children. And when we try to say something, you tell us, get over it. This is America. Look at the American dream. But as long as you're calling us Redskins and doing tomahawk chops, and we can't look at the American dream, because those things remind us that we're not real human beings to you. And when people aren't humans, you can turn them into slaves, or kill 6 million of them, or shoot them down with Hotchkiss guns and throw them into mass graves at Wounded Knee. No, we're not looking at the American dream, Nerburn. And why should we? We still haven't woken up from the American nightmare.
And I'd love to hear your reflection on that.
Well, I can give it to you real quick. Hear the rustling and the clock is moving, so I'm going to give you a couple of quick answers. Let's start with the pathology. It's taken me a lot of years to realize that I'm a professional outsider. I'd like to get off on it. I don't like to admit it, but I ran a newspaper in North Minneapolis, which was an all-black community, and there's the white guy doing this work. I drove a cab and hang out with the black guys. When I was in college, I'd hang out with I'd go hang out with the druggies if I was in college, in classes, and I'd go hang out with the college students if I was one of the druggies. And it just didn't matter where I was. I was always an outsider. And I think that came from what happened when I was younger. I had to be an outsider. I couldn't fit anywhere. So that prepared me for being an outsider. But the other side of it is, I think we all have a cast apart. And one of the questions that I've struggled with and talked to people about is empathy something you're born with, or something you learn? There are people who are sympathetic, there are people who are empathetic. We tend to give a little bit of a hierarchy that empathetic people are better than sympathetic. I don't think it's necessarily true. I think good politicians are sympathetic. sadness in our life. We want to raise our children well. We want them to do well. We want to have families. We don't want to see pain around us. And that's just people. And unless you've got your nose in the air and you think there's the stupid job you have or the amount of money you have or the car you drive matters, we're all just folks trying to get by. And so when I meet somebody, we're just folks trying to get by. And so it was easy for me. It's hard for me when I meet people who get angry because I'm not acknowledging their self-designated status. They think they're important, and I don't think they are. And then that doesn't work. But I never, as far as I'm concerned, every one of you is just another folk. And I'm just another folk who, for whatever reason, got stuck in the front of the room because I got the wrong guy to talk to me. So anyway, that's kind of the answer, I guess, yeah.